IVM.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today with us for a second time, we have Maadhuri Sharma. In the previous episode, we were discussing about how her journey towards Mrs. Earth International has been. And she's a nutritionist. So I said, let us understand what are her nutrition principles that she teaches her clients, that she works with, and she lives by every single day. So Maadhuri, welcome to the Habit Coach podcast again.
Hi, Ashton. Thank you for having me here. And thank you, IVM team, for having me here. It was so exciting coming last time. I can't wait to talk to you all about it the second time around.
I loved your insights. But Maadhuri, how did you get into nutrition? Like, why nutrition?
So as I mentioned earlier, Ashton, when I had my kids, though I was eating all the ghee and the nuts and the seeds and all the healthy stuff my mom-in-law made for me, despite that, when I went to the gym the first time, I saw black in front of my eyes. So that made me realize that it's not what you are eating. It's the combination of what all you're eating. It's not that you're eating that really fatty food, that really healthy food. It's going to make you feel wow and give you that kind of energy. No, there's a proper combination of food you need to be eating to get that kind of energy. So that's what motivated me to get into nutrition.
And then how was the process? Where did you go? What did you learn? What were the aha moments for you when you were learning nutrition?
So I went to Sophia's and I did my nutrition course there to begin with. And then I did a lot of courses online internationally to certify myself and to add to my bank of knowledge. And aha moments for me were the importance of protein. People don't think it's very important. People say, oh, protein, it's only for bodybuilders. No, it isn't. It's for all of us, especially for the young, for the aged, for people who are growing, for people who want to maintain a muscle mass, for people who want to increase in muscle mass. There's so much importance for people who are in the beauty business, who want to maintain that lovely hair, skin, nails. All this is protein. If you're not eating a good amount of it, it all goes, your entire body goes awry.
So, in fact, I was just listening to a podcast on anti-aging or longevity rather, and they were saying that, protein is such an important aspect for longevity, not in terms of the number of years that you're going to live, but the quality of the years that you're going to live, right? And they said that it's such a simple thing because we are constantly breaking our muscle down because there's not enough protein coming into our system. All you do is add more protein and you get your protein and muscle synthesis coming from there. So just eat more protein. And I think that definitely is we'll dive into this as we go ahead in the podcast as well. I think there's so much that we can discuss on how to get protein into your diet, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What was the other thing that shocked you that you thought was sacrosanct and suddenly you realized it was a myth when you started down this journey?
So about carbs, that carbs are your worst enemy. And don't eat carbs, and to go off carbs is like the only way to lose weight. No, it isn't. So carbs is your source of energy, and you need to have a certain amount of carbs as your only food for your brain. So in fact, people who are very highly stressed, for people who need to use their mind and brain a lot, those very high stressful jobs, they need to make sure that they're having a good source of carb, not just any carb, but a good source of it. So those were really aha moments because, again, I was studying and cramming for my exams and I had so much going on with me. And it's so easy to reach out to that box of chocolates or to sugar and how you want to replace it with a more long sustaining food, which gives you energy for a longer period.
When a person comes to you and is coming to you, what are the typical goals that people have when they come to you as nutritionists?
I want to lose 5 kilos for my engagement in 20 days. I'm like, what? My friend's getting married in 2 weeks. I need to fit into this tiny dress. I'm like, what? Those are the funny ones. But yeah, people do have realistic goals also. Like, I need to lose this much weight by this much time. My knees are giving me trouble because I put on weight and my doctors asked me to get down and lose this much weight. I'm bordering on insulin resistance and bordering on diabetes. I need to get my numbers down. So there are a lot of people who come with a lot of genuine goals and a lot of genuine problems. And there are a lot of people who come with totally unrealistic, that crash dieting isn't my principle. So that's what.
Well, what do you tell people who say, I want to lose 5 kilos in 2 weeks?
I said, don't eat anything. Have air, have water, and you lose it. And then you'll also fall. You'll crash with it. You may not make it to that wedding, but anyways.
You'll fit in the dress for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You can lie down in your bed and wear it.
Okay. So Madhuri, what are 5 or 6 key principles according to you for nutrition? So let's start making a list. What is number one according to you?
So eating whole grains, and whole grains are all your bajra, your jowar, you can have wheat also if you're not allergic to it. There's this entire scare about wheat, and everybody should go off wheat and everybody should go gluten free. Not necessarily. It may suit you. You can have a good kapli wheat, and that's also fine. I would say eat traditionally what your ancestors ate, and that really you can have.
How do we know what our ancestors ate?
So today I'm Kachi, and my ancestors ate bajra rotla with ghee and good. So whatever your ancestors ate, you'll know. Whatever's, eat regional, eat local, eat seasonal. Don't say, oh, that mango that came right now from I don't know where, Thailand, and I should eat it now, but it's December, it's Jan, why would you eat it? There were so many of these floating around in the market. They looked really yum, and mangoes were like my favorite. I had to really stop myself from like picking it up. So eat local, eat seasonal, eat something which is meant for that season. There's a reason why it's grown at that point. The microbiome in the around that plant or whatever that's growing, it's meant to digest those things. So eat whatever's in which place. Like the way you digest your chana and the way you digest your rajma in Punjab is very different from the way you digest it in Bombay. The water has certain minerals to make it digest that way. So getting back to your whole grains, eat your bajra, eat your jowari, eat anything that is of complex carbohydrates. This will give you sustained energy. This will, as I said earlier, that carbohydrates are your only food for your brain. So it'll give you your good B12 vitamins also. And right now, B12 vitamins is what everybody is like really falling short of, And so just
what is a complex carb? Can you just explain that?
So a complex carb is something that gives you energy slowly, a sustained energy. So like your sweet potato, okay, you can have your sweet potato instead of your potato. Your potato is a simple carb. The energy will just like shoot out of your body really fast. But sweet potato will give you a more sustained release of energy, which is why people nowadays, the sweet potato has become your superhero food, and it's yummy also. So why not? Yeah.
So what are some of the replacements from simple carbs to complex carbs that we can start doing from today onwards? So one is sweet potato from potato.
Yes.
That's something that we've done in our house as well. So all potatoes are out, sweet potatoes are in. They're the new kid on the block.
Super. Go off maida. Again, all the fiber and all the good stuff has been removed from that maida, and go on anything which is with fiber, with its bran. Like your wheat with a wheat bran is fab. Your, again, as I said, the bajra, your jowar, your any of those traditional attas that you're having, all of them are fab. And these are.
What are your thoughts on mixed attas versus not mixing attas?
I would say just have one atta at a time. Don't mix the entire thing. Have one thing at a time. So your body is not very confused in digesting the entire thing.
Correct, absolutely. Because each of these grains also require different enzymes, which are subtle in order to digest. And right now there's this whole trend of, mixed attas, 5 attas in one, 16 attas in one, 35 attas, plus dals, everything is happening. So like you said, just stick to one.
Yeah.
So if you're doing bajra, do bajra. If you're doing jawar, do jawar. If you're doing ragi, do ragi.
Yes.
You might fall asleep after ragi, but it's okay.
But your calcium is so good in ragi. So, people who are really scared that, I'm going off milk and how will I manage? But you look at the amount of calcium that's there in your ragi. Fantastic.
Absolutely. So I do ragi at night because ragi puts you to sleep. So
does it put you to sleep? Yeah.
There's one little molecule that puts you to sleep. So I said, why do it in the afternoon and then crash? Do it at night and then crash. Yeah. So we make these lovely ragi pancakes at home. So one of the traditional Parsi dishes is called a chapat, which is maida, water, sugar, mix it up, put it on your stove and make a flat pancake out of it. So we just replaced the maida with ragi and did the same thing. And the sugar obviously was replaced with stevia and stuff like that. But like apart from that, so that's how we started making these pancakes.
So there you go. You're back to your roots. You're back to your traditional food. You must eat what was traditionally eaten by your ancestors. You asked me this, like, how do you do it, right? And this is it. You made it more healthier and that's fine.
Correct. So you make these little tweaks. And I think that's the important aspect. Very often with nutrition, we get lost by saying that, how will I make all these changes? Mera pura, khana barbad ho gaya. We'll have to now make 4 different dishes at home, 2 for the family, 2 for me. Like, no, it's actually just a small tweak sometimes that makes a big difference. Right? So one small tweak could be just from your simple carbohydrates to complex, have your whole grains, like you said.
Yes.
That's the first one. What's the second one?
So second one is have a good source of protein, and there are various combinations of this. So whether you're vegetarian, whether you're vegan, whether you're non-vegetarian is the easiest, as everybody knows, because you can have your eggs, you can have your chicken, you can have your fish, you can have all your lean meats. Yeah, you're vegetarian now. If you're having something like a rajma, a vegetarian source of protein is quite incomplete by itself. But if you mix it with a carb, like if you have a rajma with the chawal, as traditionally everybody ate it, it completes the source of carbohydrate. So, you have to have those kind of combinations.
Can you just dwell a little bit more on this? Like, what do you mean by incomplete protein and how does that work?
So a complete source of protein will have all your sets of amino acids in it. An incomplete source of protein will have one or two of the amino acids missing in it, which is why it makes it incomplete. So when the rajma combines with the chawal, whatever is incomplete, whatever one or two amino acids are incomplete in the rajma gets completed by what is there in the chawal. So again, it puts me back to the thing that eat traditional, how your ancestors ate. And, everything sorts out. So your rajma with your chawal, for people who are like, oh my God, I can't have carbs, I'm going to put on weight. Stop getting scared of carbs. Carbs isn't your enemy. The processed food, all those things in your chips, your everything in your packets, that is your enemy. That refined oil, that is your enemy, So burgers and your fast food, McDonald's, that is your enemy.
Dushman, enemy. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, writer-director Supan Verma tells Cyrus what it was like co-directing Season 2 of The Family Man. In their new miniseries, Ek Sawal Kai Jawab, the Pulyabazi hosts ask, how much should the government's tax income be? What's life like in your 40s? Actor Sikandar Khair talks to Ritasha and Ayushi on Agla Station Adulthood. On All Things Policy, the Takshashila folks shed light on a probable global treaty for pandemic management. And on Say No to Drama, Chetna explains how to give up on the stress of not finding solutions to our problems right away. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. We really do appreciate the word of mouth. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms that you're listening to us on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is. And we are also on YouTube. On YouTube, you can check out our various channels on ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Bank of Baroda and CoinSwitch Kuber. Thank you for making this possible.
Welcome back. All right, let's jump into the conversation. So, in fact, we went through this whole trend, like you said, of avoiding the rice, right? What did you have? I had a bowl of rajma and no, I wanted protein. No, so I had rajma. No, that rajma did not create protein in your body, especially if you're vegetarian, because you didn't get the other set of amino acids that would have come from the rice that is there. That's why traditionally always you have dal, roti, sabzi. So dal, roti forms the protein, or the rajma rice, like you said, forms the protein completely. So focus on your protein. Do you have a set goal that you tell people on how much protein? Do you have any benchmark like that?
So it depends on what stage of their life they are in. It depends what their activity level is. It depends what their goal is. It depends whether they're exercising adults. It depends if they're not exercising adults. It depends how serious their exercise routine is and how dedicated they are to their fitness journey. It all changes according to that. But normally, a person should consume 0.8 grams of protein per kg of body weight. So for an exercising adult, it will increase. And again, for children, they require a good source of protein because they're building their body, So your height also increases, your development happens better when you're having a good source of protein. For adults, the wasting of muscles, the sarcopenia, which starts happening, if you're having a good quality protein, that doesn't happen. And that is very important in older people. So, it depends upon their requirement totally.
Okay, so typically 0.8 grams per kilo. So if you weigh 100 kilos, 80 grams of protein is what you're suggesting that we should be, at least on a minimum, taking on board and getting enough food.
Yes, divided into all their different meals. Not that you eat 80 grams at one time. That is, your body is going to store it away as fat. It can only digest a certain amount. The rest is stored away as fat. So make sure that every meal that you're having is having a good source of protein.
Okay, protein critical. What's the third important point that you would like to share?
So have a good quality of fat Don't be scared of fat. Fat isn't going to make you fat. You have to have it in a certain amount, and you have to have a good quality fat. So you can't just like say, I'm slathering on that much butter and I'm having so much fat, I'm good. I'm having those fried chips and I'm good. No, that's not what I'm calling as fat. What I'm saying is have a good amount of ghee, not like tons of it, but in proportion. You can have avocado, again, not like a lot of it. Have it in proportion to your body. Have good fats in your, these are good fats. Nuts, your seeds, these are good sources of fat. And
So how would you divide like this good source of fat across the day? So firstly, if there's a good fat, that means it's a bad fat, right?
Yes.
So what are the fats that you should be avoiding, A? And then the good fats, how do I get back into my system?
Okay, so your bad fats are your trans fat. That's the worst kind of fat. Please, it's written across all the labels, no trans fat is there. When they typically write that there's no trans fat, the government allows you to put a certain amount of it. Like if you don't need to disclose a certain amount is allowed to be put in. The minute that label is there, don't pick up that packet. Don't pick up anything in a packet. Try and get everything made at home, or you can buy everything local. You can buy everything fresh. There's so many people baking and making such amazing stuff. Just be a little bit creative, look into things, and you'll be able to find everything. Yeah, so don't have trans fat. Don't have anything which is, your vanaspati is your worst. It's horrible for you. This is your trans fat. Don't have, anything in a packet. Don't have, these are your
hydrogenated oils. These are typically your hydrogenated oils.
They're horrible hydrogenated oils. Horrible. That's your trans fat.
What happens when you have these kinds of fats?
So this is what leads to your cholesterol. This is what it clogs your arteries, and then you get your atherosclerosis, you get all your thickening of your arteries. This is why people have been scared of fat. But if you're having the good quality fat, it actually lines your nerve endings. So that's actually very good for you. Fat is a very good source of energy. So again, if you're having a good quality fat, you can get a good energy level. And fat is also good for building your HDL, which is again your good cholesterol, and your bad cholesterol is what leads to your LDL. LDL is what leads to all your problems in your heart and your heart attacks and all these things. So make sure that you have your good fats that promote your HDL, that are good for you. Your skin gets glowing and fresh with a good amount of fat. People who don't have too much fat, their skin starts drying out. So your hair starts drying out. So have good quality fat.
When people say like, what should I fry in? What is your answer?
You can't fry in ghee. So unfortunately, I don't. But why do you need to fry? That's one thing. You can bake, you can grill, you can air fry, There's no need to fry, I tell everybody. And yeah.
So I love that answer because that's the answer that I also give. Like, why do you want to deep fry things?
Yeah.
That itself is a big issue when it comes to health.
We have so many options now. I mean, air fryers and all, everything is available at the snap of your fingers. So, be smart about it. You can oven bake things, you can roast things, you can grill things, you can air fry them. You don't need to deep fry it.
Absolutely. So start using these good fats. Quickly, let's make a list. So you said ghee, you said nuts.
Yeah.
Then
ghee, nuts, seeds, avocado.
Seeds, avocado.
Yeah, this is good enough. Good enough. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Coconut oils, mustard oils, sesame oils. What are all your thoughts on those?
So those are fantastic. Coconut oil is fantastic. Any of your kachi ghani oils, again, this is very traditional, so your kachi ghani oils are not your refined oils. Your refined oils are very bad for you, so you get these unrefined oils. They're called kachi ghani because again, they've not been stripped off of all its nutrients. So you can use that. That can be used in your cooking. So again, those are your good fats. Your coconut oil is your good fat. Again, it can be used in cooking. You can use it in your dressing. You can use it in any of the desserts that you're making, and yeah.
Lovely. Okay, cool. Fourth point.
Okay, eat your rainbow. When I tell everybody eat your rainbow means make sure that your plate has different color vegetables. Now, it's not just to make it look colorful and like, oh, wow, my plate looks so beautiful. It's not just for that. Each vegetable and each color gives a different micronutrient, gives a different vitamin, gives a different mineral. So if you're eating all of that, then you do not need the vitamins. But it's a disclaimer. Please, I'm not telling everybody eat your rainbow and go off vitamins. Right now, there's an increased demand for the vitamins because of the pandemic that we're facing. So be sensible about that. Have your vitamins too, but make sure that you're having your rainbow. So all colors, your red and your tomatoes, you can have pomegranates. Nature's right now bursting. It's winter. There's so many amazing fruits and vegetables that are available. Please make sure you have all of them, your green and your amla, your yellow, your different sweet potato, your kaddus, they're beautiful, zucchini, all your fruits. Your green, you can have all your green vegetables. Again, I said have amla. Yellow, you can have your turmeric. There are two different colors of turmeric that are available, and it's amazing. In your blue, there's nothing really you can have, but orange, you can have your different oranges. Again, one of the turmerics go into that. You can have your pumpkin, and purple, you can have your brinjal and purple cabbage. So yeah, just enjoy it right now. There's so many berries that are available. Your strawberries, mulberries, cherries right now have come into season. Enjoy all this, build on your antioxidants, build on your reserves. Your winter's a time to eat all this and build on your reserve for the rest of the year.
When people say eat the rainbow, the big thing that I take out from it, and I think this is something that I would love to encourage the listeners to do, is to experiment. What happens is that very often we get into a trap of having 7 go-to dishes. These are the dishes that I will cook. These are the dishes I know well to cook. Ye sabzi, ye this, ye that. As a result, you don't pick up any new things that are there in the market. You never experiment. You never try different things. So I think one way of thinking about Eat the Rainbow is also experiment with new things and new vegetables that you find.
Yes, definitely experiment with new things, but know why you're having it. If there's an understanding that you're having it because it's giving you something different, then you will definitely make that effort of experimenting. Once there's that understanding, which is why I explain to people that understand what red is giving me, yellow can't. What yellow is giving me, orange can't. What orange is giving me, green can't. So, understand that and have it all.
Lovely. Understand it, have it all, and you'll see that difference.
Yes.
Okay. 5th one.
So whole grains, proteins, fats. Okay. Fiber. Have a good source of fiber, because fibers, again, it fills your stomach. It gives you a good amount of satisfaction. Fiber is very good for your elimination of your bowel movements. If you have good elimination of your bowel movements, that puts your entire system back into track, and that means your body is functioning in a good way. So have a good source of fiber. Have your fruits, have your vegetables, have your whole grains, have... there's so many good fiber things, right? Even your avocado has a good amount of fiber. Your sweet potato has a good amount of fiber. Your Brussels sprouts right now, I know it's fancy, but they're there in season right now. Enjoy them. Your Brussels sprouts has the highest amount of fiber, very good for you. And yeah, it keeps your gut clean.
So fiber is essential, keeping gut clean.
Yes.
Also, fiber is important from a microbiome point of view because it is the food for your bacteria that you have in your gut.
It is.
And I think that's your point 6 as well, right?
Yes.
The gut health. So tell us about point 6.
So keeping your gut clean, with your fiber is very important. Also, your entire immunity, 70% of your immunity rests in your gut. I'm sure you've heard it again and again and again, but I'm again stressing this point in the pandemic and in the fact that we are in the throes of this Omicron variant and every second person is getting it. So make sure that you focus on your gut. Make sure that you're having gut-friendly food, which is again your fibers. You're having fermented food, Now, fermented food is what your gut bacteria love, and it increases the good gut bacteria. So you can have simple things. It's up to you. You want to have fancy things and get your sauerkraut from the market, get your miso. Sauerkraut can be made at home itself. You can buy miso and put them in your soup. You can get kimchi again and add it to your meals. It makes it very tasty. You can make simple pickles at home with your 2 different haldi, with your ginger, and put some salt and put some lime. And let it ferment for a day or 2. That becomes your fermented food. It's a simple to-do thing at home. And you can have your... Again, people having beet kvass. I used to really be a big one for kombucha till I figured the sugar and what it was doing. I'm not really for kombucha. It leads to a lot of dampness in your body. And you can have something like, as I said, beet kvass. You can do your kanji, your beetroot kanji, and that's fabulous.
What is the thing that you said before, the kanji?
Beet kvass.
What is that? I've never heard of that.
So a kvass is local to Russia.
Okay.
And there are a lot of people doing it here. I think Bombucha is doing beet kvass, and it's yummy. It's again with salt.
So it's made from beetroot.
Beetroot, yes.
Oh, okay, fine.
So the beet kvass, the beet kanji, these are again, kanji is something that was so traditional to us. Eat all these things and they're fabulous for you.
Interesting. Because normally when we think about probiotics and people say, you should have probiotics, they say, I have dahi. And it ends at that conversation, right? And you don't realize, but dahi is just one bacteria. Yeah. You need a strain of bacteria. You need different ones.
Yes. You have to have a variety in your microbiome.
Correct.
So actually, I would say to have a few fermented foods in the day, not just one, like have a host of it.
What are your favorites?
So with my food, I like to have this pickle, the haldi and the ginger pickle that I make at home. I have a sauerkraut. I also have, in between my meals, I have this beet kvass or a kanji. And I put miso in my soup at night. And I have that with my green soup. So you have to
nice. You keep adding it through the day in different parts of it.
Through the day. Because again, a very important part is that your serotonin is made in your gut. Your serotonin is your feel-good hormone. And right now with the pandemic and with the amount of stress that we've all gone through, and I've known so many people who have gotten onto anti-anxiety pills and a lot of depression and all of this. If you take care of your gut, if you keep your gut clean, if you don't have any things that inflame your gut, inflammatory foods being your sugar, your processed foods, your refined oils, if you cut back on all this, you put in a lot of good things for your good gut bacteria, like your fermented foods, you have a good amount of fiber, I think you're sorted.
Nice. Okay, so keep these things in mind and you're set. I love it. So 6 principles, very easy to follow.
Yes.
And like we said, we wanted to put actionable things that you can start doing from tomorrow onwards. So Maadhuri is, very helpfully given us these actionables. Start doing these things and you'll see a big difference in the way that you think about nutrition.
Yeah.
If you had one signing off thought that you wanted to leave with everyone about nutrition, what would it be? I
would say change your relationship with food. Don't be scared of any of the macronutrients. Everything, all this is in nature, your carbs, your proteins, all of it. Use it sensibly, change your psychology with food, love your food, don't be scared of any of it, and eat it all, but eat it in the correct combination and at the right time. I think that's it.
Perfect. You hit the nail on the head. Maadhuri, thank you so much for coming and joining us. How can people reach out to you? How can people connect with you?
So they can contact me on my email, which is my entire name, Maadhuri, Maadhuri, Rajiv, RAAJEEV, Sharma @gmail.com. Or they can DM me on Instagram, Mrs. Earth International 2016. And I'll get back to them.
There you go. Lovely. Maadhuri, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ashdin. Thank you, everybody at the IVM podcast. Great being here, as usual. Loads of love.
We must definitely do this again.
Lovely.
See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See
Bye.
you.
If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME 180. That's Awesome 180.
जिस तरीके से हमारे माँ बाप ने अपने करियर की सीढ़ियां चढ़ी थी, वैसे आज के जमाने में तो पॉसिबल है ही नहीं गुरु, क्योंकि हमारा जमाना इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है। आज क्या नहीं है, कंपटीशन है, सोशल मीडिया है, इतना इंफॉर्मेशन ओवरलोड है कि करियर का टेंशन ज्यादा होता है, उस पर काम कम। टेंशन लेने से कोई फायदा तो है नहीं। क्या करते हैं, ठंडे दिमाग से सुनते हैं प्रोबेशन से प्रमोशन तक पॉडकास्ट को हर सोमवार, जहाँ पे सिर्फ प्रैक्टिकल बातें होती हैं आपके करियर की। और कौन करता है वो? मैं आपका होस्ट अभिनव त्रिवेदी। ये पॉडकास्ट आप सुन सकते हैं IVM पॉडकास्ट की वेबसाइट, ऐप या फिर किसी भी अन्य पॉडकास्ट स्ट्रीमिंग प्लेटफॉर्म पर।
You're the people pleaser, right? Oh, yes. Or then desperately seeking the one? Oh, wait, you're the one who doesn't think they're ever good enough. Oh. So much drama. And for what? Is it doing you any good? Listen to me. I'm Chetna, your favorite positive action coach. Yes, I'm the one who has been dropping all those truth bombs on every episode. And it's time you learn to say no to drama. That's also what my podcast is called. And a new episode is out every Monday and Wednesday on the IVM Podcast app, website, as well as all major podcasting platforms.